Evening all, welcome to another ICC Banter Blitz. It's Friday, it's actually 8 PM UK time. We're a bit earlier, an hour earlier than usual because of US time difference, time alteration. Let me just mute over here. Okay, hi, I'm going to say hi on stream. Hi there. Okay, let's see. So I've got a few challenges already. Let's pick one of them. So Chamanx. Let's try a. It's a 3-minute game. I've just realised it's a 3-minute game. Fast and Furious. Neidorf. Okay. Pretty standard stuff so far. Yep. Maybe, quick D5 here. I'm thinking there's going to be weaknesses, a vacuum of weaknesses created. I hope there's a vacuum of weaknesses that have been created here. Maybe I'm too optimistic about this position. Yes, I could have some king safety issues, but that E5 square attracts me. Let's see. F6 might be dangerous. Yeah, F6 might be dangerous. Can I get to play G6 here to try and... Or have I just encouraged F6? Yes, I've just encouraged F6. Oh well, there's always maybe Bishop F8. If a queen's ever visiting H6 one day, I'll get ready for Bishop F8. Okay, a queen might be visiting soon. Just in advance. There's also an idea of H5 if needed. Actually, there's pin, there's Queen B6 check. Okay, I can get out of the pin with the check.
Check.
That also, I don't know if maybe just Knight D7. If the king's on this diagonal, I'm wondering Knight D7, Bishop B7, and then later this diagonal could be interesting. I'm not sure about here. This fractures my structure potentially. On Bishop takes C4, I don't like that necessarily. I think Knight D7 might be safe enough. I'm hoping Knight D7. There's not a tactic, is there? I don't think there's a tactic just yet on the rook. The rook's a loose piece. If the bishop wasn't on E2, you can imagine Knight D5 for Queen E8. But at the moment, okay, I'm getting away with this loose piece. Oh. The opponent's lost contact. Okay, well that was an interesting position anyway. Okay, J Russell 2. It's been adjudicated, that game, so that we can carry on from that dramatic moment soon, I hope. Okay, bit of a warm-up. Okay, so J Russell 2. So this is 5 minutes each. So this Smith-Morra Gambit gives me sometimes a fun game. And the basic idea I picked up many years back is actually from Andrew Martin. Just put the rooks on C1 and D1, often with a bishop on F4. It seems, at the very least, I know you're a pawn down, one is a pawn down, but there's a little bit of harmony here in the position. If you have these rooks, next to each other, with pressure on D6, and also you've got the C file. Okay, so that's the thing. I'm wondering, okay, Bishop G4 could be a pain. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to do the same thing to black, which he could have done to me. And that is often very dangerous, I think, and I am crushing me a few weeks back with doubling the pawns here. I'm going to stop this Bishop G4. So hopefully my compensation here is this D5 square, and black could have done the reverse. I'm hoping this grip on the D5 square, it's not, I don't think it's I don't think it's that convincing at the moment. Compensation, nebulous compensation, you could say. Nebulous. It's almost queen c8, except there's bishop takes or queen takes. I'm just wondering about knight e7. Good to look at the forcing moves anyway. You know, for knight e7, if that's not happening here. Anyway, aside from that bit of fiction there, queen takes b7 might be interesting. Just nabbing that pawn. Okay, can I do anything with this other knight? Maybe this grip on the light square for no apparent reason. What can I do with this knight, I wonder? Aha! Aha! Now I can double the pawns with compensation, surely. But rook takes d6. I need to move my queen. I'm going to go over here, I think. Now surely I've got a tiny bit of compensation here. After queen h6. These double pawns, and also d6 as a target. Well, I'm going to drop e4. So, yes, don't like dropping e4. Can I just take a centre pawn first? Or is there something horrible coming my way? He's on my rook, and he's on the pawn. Queen h6, there's queen e4. I'm controlling d8 at the moment. A forcing move exists, knight e5 for queen g5. Check. Actually, that's interesting. Queen f6, king g8. It's almost interesting. For rook d8. If rook c8. Queen f6, king g8. It's almost interesting. Let's have a look at this again. Knight takes, queen g5, queen f6, rook d8. Well, if rook e8, I can take it on rook d8. If rook c8, that's the pain of it. So I don't think it's that great. What about queen h6 for rook d8? If there's always queen e4, that's the problem. Okay, I've got this d file. I seem to have some sort of something potentially going on. Not sure quite what. Maybe there's nothing. A little think on the opponent's downsides of the position here. Queen h6, queen e4 for sure. Queen's actually not a bad spot. If I take check, there's no f6 because queen e6. In that position there's rook e6 almost. Takes. King g7, there's rook d7. Blimey. You know what? I'm going to give this stuff a go. There's a lot of interesting checks with rook e6 in mind. I don't know entirely if it's sound, but on the other hand, I don't think I've got that many possibilities available which are interesting. The queen's not looking at the rook at the moment, so that's a valuable tempo that if he wants to attack the rook, he's going to have to move this one. So let's have a look at this again. Takes, check, rook e6, check. He's bypassing it all. He's trusting me. That's interesting. Well, that means, well, there's all sorts of possibilities. I seem to have been trusted here. I think rook e6 is working. Also here. And then rook e6. Because if takes, knight f7. If takes, there's rook d8 mating. So I think queen g3 is almost mating. Rook e6, knight f7, rook d8.
Check.
Let's have a look at this again. King h8, rook e6. You can take here, but if knight f7, there's rook d8 surely. If takes, well, if takes,
check.
rook d8.
Check.
That back row is slightly vulnerable. Yeah. Okay, thanks, J. Russell 2. We got the adjourned game position from earlier. So I played this check. Let's move this. Okay, let's get this diagonal working. There's no knight d5 at the moment. I was talking about this rook earlier. Can I get onto this diagonal? That's connecting the rooks. d4 check is immediately threatened. Can I do this? With e4, bishop g2, d4. Maybe. d4, there's knight e4. What about queen b2? Then there's bishop b4 with rook b1. There's no time for bishop b4. Is there time for d4? Bishop g2, d4, knight e4. What about pinning this? Bishop b4. Has my opponent got a connection problem? I'm thinking my opponent's got a connection problem. His clock has stopped. Okay, I think this is it's going to be adjudicated again at this rate. One way of checking if you're still connected, you do who space T to see the top players, and I can see the top players. My connection hasn't dropped, it seems. Maybe my opponent's connection is a little bit I'm going to sort of adjourn or something, or abort, or no, adjourn. Oh well. So how is everyone on the stream? I'm on season 7 of the Gilmore Girls. I know it's been mentioned. My chess hasn't been that bad over the board and other sites. I know I've had a bit of a time on the auto pairing on my daily recently, but I honestly don't believe my chess. I'm working on my morning sessions. I've ordered some porridge where you just have to add water. So I'm hoping to have that as breakfast from now on. So in a few days' time, in about 10 days' time, when I do a new batch of my daily ICC Blitz videos, I'm hoping at least to have a bit more energy from porridge. That's my plan. That's my cunning plan. Bishop c5, knight a4. There's bishop f2, right? So this might be handy. Huh? Okay, let's move. I think I need to move. I have a porridge plan, basically. E3 and then d4. Okay, that's not happening. d4 coming up. Well, I lose this bishop on b7. That's not clever, is it? d5 is under fire. Let's see. Oh, I can play this now, hitting the rook. Now that he's unpinned my pawn, I can take this guy. I can maybe... What can I do now? What can I do now? Not much. That d4 is dropping. The back row seems vulnerable. My back row seems vulnerable. Whoa, looks a little bit scary.
Check.
That's a check. And go in here for the attack. I have rook d2, if knight g3. If the queen plunges in, I'm taking with check. Well, there's rook d2 here. This looks good. You can add things to porridge to make it more interesting. I'm hoping it's going to be more interesting. So yeah, there's this one you just add, apparently just water. You don't have to mess around with milk.
Check.
So I'm hoping my morning sessions are going to be a bit more energetic. Thanks, Chamanx. So better one. For this session, I've had a Kenko. It's an evening session. I've had a Kenko. I've got a Starbucks mug, and I believe sincerely that the texture of the actual coffee cup you use somehow has an influence on how it tastes. like the silkier it is inside. I have that theory anyway. It might be completely imagining it. Okay, so but anyway, let's see. This is hack attack territory. Have I got f7? Queen f3 for f7. Is this happening, or is it not? It's pretty direct. It's old school, pretty direct on a soft spot. I saw them play chess in Gilmore Girls in episode just tonight. I saw them playing chess, 2 of them. So chess does feature even on the Gilmore Girls. And the fianchetto, pronounced fianchetto, was mentioned as being really clever. Yeah. Okay. So Queen A5 or F6 are both concerns here. Yeah, I know. Okay, dangerous. I'll cancel here. I want to play knight f6, I think. Well, I did want to play knight f6. I can still play knight f6. I shouldn't have allowed that, maybe, this position. Nevertheless, what to do? Can I kick this queen away with bishop d3? It would threaten knight f6. I want to cheekily try and keep the queens on. You know, it's a lot in the towel games. His opponents try and get the queens off. I want to keep the queens on here. A lot of the tension in the game is with the queen. So knight f6 is threatened to win the queen. I kick this queen away. And actually, I should have played maybe knight f6 when I had the chance there to get this dark square bishop by force. Naughty. Why didn't I play knight f6? I've still got a chance to play knight f6, but he could play king h8 now. Oh, okay.
Check.
He's not going to take it, I imagine. Isn't there rook b1, b5 to h5? That's a plan. If I can get the use of... Could play a6 against that. Rook b1, a6. And then who's laughing? Not me. If I can get rook b5 in, I'll be laughing for rook h5. I imagine he's going to play king h8. So rook b5 threatened. Rook b5. Knight e5, rook b5. Whoa! a6 was maybe useful. I'm just winning a piece here. I'm just winning that poor knight. All I meant for the rook was to take on h5. Okay, I think this e5 knight is dropping. I don't believe knight takes d3 is working. I just take the queen. Queen c7, I just take the knight. I don't see what black does here. There's disconnection of pieces as well. Yeah, I think this is very promising. I'll finish with a queen sack potentially here. How can I finish this off nicely? I probably don't need to be too flash. Maybe just knight takes to rep through to the king.
Check.
Yeah, h7. Alright, thanks to the game, that one. Bishop, mate. Now, I'll try and play Albin countergambit. Sometimes this is a fun position. But then I have to switch to Dutch Stonewall territory, which is also a bit of fun. Because knight f3 prevented my e5. If I can get control of this critical e5 square, I think that would be that's very interesting. Yes, the double fianchetto, as they say, or fianchetto, as I prefer to say. Double fianchetto. Okay. So, if I took that, I've still got g5 for the knight. I like to have a pawn here rather than a piece. This diagonal is sometimes compromised with this d takes e5. Bishop c5 obviously can take, but these forcing moves need to be checked, I think. Even if they're crazy, I notice the more alert I am, the more keen I am to check out the crazy stuff. And a small percentage of that time, the crazy stuff actually works under certain conditions. So it's a kind of testament to being alert. If you can look at the crazy stuff, even in a blitz game, sometimes a small percentage of the time it will work. Conditions change so rapidly on the board as well. Okay, so this one, it kind of blocks in this bishop. I'm not sure about taking it. With this bishop blocked in, it's actually opened up my bishop here. This looks, positionally, my bishops are better than they should be. In a Dutch stonewall, this bishop should usually be dead from white's perspective. But it's alive here. And I wonder, bishop h3, cd, queen h5. Or I can play d4 with punting for pins on the d file. Or there's knight h3. Maybe even d takes c4, just to resolve the central situation. And then bishop h3 and rook d8. The last thing I really want is pawns coming at me in the center, two connected pawns in the center. So you know what? I'm going to actually dissolve that pawn and just try and use the d file with rook d8. So queen h5. Oh, there's a queen d5 check. I suppose white could win the b7 pawn, but I'm looking at the king safety now. I think this would be well away from the king. So queen d5, king h8. This is well away from the king. I'll just take on g2 and queen h5, queen h3. Try and use the d file, or even this f3. If a queen's on h5, I'm hitting f3 as well. This looks pretty dangerous. Actually, it reminds me a bit of one of Kotov's positions, where he got hacked to death in his book called Think Like a Grandmaster. He mentioned this game where the opponent just hacked him to death and he couldn't calculate anything. And it was a bit like this sort of stuff, this construction. Queen b7, queen h5. Do we need to calculate this? The queen's just well away from the king. He can have this pawn as well. Surely this is just mega dangerous. I'm just going to take here and go for h3. On queen c7. Oh, there's queen e7 on the rook. I could use this rook for rook c4. There's rook c1. That rook's useful for f3 though. So queen c7. Might have to start calculating here. Well, there's fg. That's crushing, isn't it? Well, fg's crushing here. I'm threatening mate already. The queen's just millions of miles away from the king. Millions of miles away. Long, long way away.
Check.
c4's hanging, but I'm mating on h2. More importantly, thanks to the game, bishop mate, there's Metanov. Okay, there's Metanov 1, 2, 3. I could try a Sicilian, I think. I'll transpose it into a French. You can do this transposition. I actually scheduled, believe it or not, it's scheduled for my King's Crusher channel, a Morphy game where he played the French defence. He got a knight to f5. It was an advanced variation. I don't want to spoil it for you what happened later though. But it's amazing. That was when he was about 12 or 13. He played the French defence because he's known for his open games but he actually did play this French defense game, which was extremely curious. But it did have a great sacrifice in it. He did put pressure on d4, like I want to do here, and he did play queen b6, but I don't want to go too much into the details. Can I use this g file? Essentially, maybe I should have moved the knight, actually. I've realised now that the knight could have gone to, well, somewhere. I can probably try and double on the g file and try and use c4 if b5 with knight a5, c4, knight c4. But if I double with rook g6, rook g8, that looks like there could be some trouble. Like g3, well, I'm going to build the pressure here. Oh, e5 was hanging. E5 was hanging, and I didn't notice. Should have noticed that. E5 was hanging. Right, queen h3 is threatened. Right, queen h3. There's knight g5. Well, maybe there's queen g4, or I don't know. This queen g4 is knight f7 to d6. This might not be entirely clever. Let's see. Oh, he's not taking there. And queen g3. There's rook f3. If I set the exchange, does weaken e5, keeps the queens on. There's h4, h3. I think I want this bishop on this diagonal. Maybe knight g6 at some point soon. Maybe if the queens come off here, I don't think I'm worried. Let the queens come off. Now, is he protecting e5? I'm wondering about my pawn inertia here, especially after being able to take this now again. My pawns in the center look like a potential pawn storm in the center. Nice knight on c4. I can play for e5 with rook g5 and then try and get these pawns going. Maybe I need to stop knight b5. f4, g3. These pawns look as though they could be menacing. I would like to keep my pawns together, so I think I'm gonna maybe bishop e6. I want to keep my pawns together, connected like a network of pawns. So g3, maybe there's a mating net with g3. It's taking away some escape squares. There's knight a5. If a5, if doubles knight c4, these pawns look like armada of pawns now in the center. One concern, a5, maybe rook, maybe king takes b5. Yeah, I've got a Spanish armada going on here of pawns. No one expects the Spanish Inquisition, but after rook h5, I think there could be one. Rook h1. The knight's actually quite influential here. It's looking pretty awkward before this happened. This checkmate. Oops. Okay. Yeah. Thanks for the game. That's messing off. Rocky Top. Okay. Rocky Top. Hello. 3-minute game. Fast and Furious. Are we having a what are we having here? Some sort of I'll play e6. It's more flexible, more fluid pawn structure than e5. In this move order, I don't have to worry about the Keres attack, whatever. That quick g4, g5 business is not relevant here. So this kind of Shaveningham pawn structure, b5, bishop b7 is an absolute classic plan. It's so classic. Bishop b7, put the knight on c5, threaten b4. It's all about the influence of light squares, particularly e4, and sometimes to use the c4 outpost square on that semi-open file. It's classic recipe time. So bishop b7, knight d7. Now e5 needs to be worked out all the time, but I think at the moment maybe just take. If I took on f3, queen f3 is on the rook. If I took here, takes knight d7, it's mildly dangerous. e5 is vulnerable there, though that e5 pawn would drop off surely. So let's see. Alright, he's playing it. He's playing it. I thought the e5 pawn is vulnerable. Long term wise. Long term. So f takes, knight d7. He can protect it with bishop f4. Whilst knight e4 is not possible, I can play b4 to dislodge the knight. Of course it can go like this, but it's quicker to go via e4. So in other words, to play b4 now might be beneficial while the knight hasn't got e4. So bishop f4, b4, knight moves to e2. Well, what about knight c? Do I want to keep the pressure on e5? That's the thing. More pressure on e5. But he has got the e4 square, but then knight takes e5. Okay. Threaten knight takes e5 again. Can I pin this guy? Just before knight e4 happens. Let's get out of the pin here, bishop h6, before that happens. There is knight e4. This is starting to get a little bit dangerous, actually. Yes, I've allowed that. There's knight takes e5 here, but then bishop e5 on threatening mate. And if it takes, then queen e5 protects there. So this is starting to get a little bit dangerous. Can I do this? No, there's knight g5 threatening knight f7. Oh, gotta be careful. Let's put this back. Alright, I'll take that. Maybe f6 and e5. Now surely this pawn's slightly dislocated away from white's position, surely. On d6. Don't tell me it's not vulnerable there. Alright, knight b4. I'm not getting mated yet anyway, that's the good news. This is a loose piece to target with simultaneous attacks. But at the moment I can swing it back to d5. I'm hitting c2. So let's imagine rook d2, knight d5. Or there's, yeah, knight d5. It's not particularly useful there. Oh, there's knight f4 now. That's more like it. Maybe g5. Just reinforce that knight on f4. Get this g file. Can I attack with the g file? Knight Fisher against Tau, one of their early encounters. G file. Oh, this knight f5 is probably a bit of a pain. Yeah. Knight h6 for f7 is probably a pain. Yeah, okay. Point well made. Knight h6. What about rook f8? Oh, my rooks have been forked. That wasn't an intended thing. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh man. Oh, what is going on here? Why is he winning this? Oh! It's good he's only got 8 seconds. Oh, just the mirage he's winning this, yeah? An unpleasant one. What has happened here? There's rook d6 now. Okay, I can stop rook d6 and protect f6.
Check.
Blimey. What have I done to him? What have I done to this guy?
Check.
Oh.
Check. Check.
Okay, I was getting scared. Okay, Zebil. I'll play Trompovsky. Whoa! I'm putting a brick wall to this bishop, and I want black to commit to h5 here. Maybe I've got a blockade on f4. Okay, knight f4. Queen b3 and c4. Okay, do I know what I'm doing here? I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. Probably, if I don't play this, g5 is going to happen. The active rook might be worth also weakening the diagonal. It's undoubling. It's not. Yeah, it's undoubling the pawns as well. I'm thinking actually, knight e5 and c4 looks good. I guess I've favoured rook activity versus keeping that double pawn structure. I'm going to have double pawns myself now. Can I avoid... if I play knight e2, he's always on f2. If I take here is... it's unpleasant. It's unpleasant. No. No. Maybe queen f6, knight e4 is possible. Protects f2. Maybe. Queen f5, bishop d3, king moves. What if I just castle queen f2, there's knight e4? On slightly, that's queen e3. What about just f4 here? This hasn't worked out. but nevertheless, I don't want to be too depressed about this position. It hasn't worked out. I probably HG was a bad decision earlier. So I'm a minute down, it hasn't worked out. Can I castle queenside? And then e5 and bishop d3. Maybe it's not entirely bad. e5, there's always bishop f5, so I want to stop bishop f5 at least if I'm going to play e5. I don't know if it's bad or good or anything now. King b1 is always on d2. I can't move the rook. Right, I'll just put this rook here now, I think. So I might be threatening e5 or ed. Okay, I'll take towards the centre, I think. What if I use rook f1 here, just to try and contest the f5 square? Because this bishop f5 is going to happen on the e5. This can help for e5. I think g6 could be vulnerable. The question is about also rook f3. There's queen g5. No. Maybe. Hang on, e5, bishop e5. I'll just move this for a moment. Do I want to play e5? I think I do. Round about here? Is he taking here? Can I take this? It's with check.
Check.
Gives me knight e4 for knight f6. There's queen d3, check, king a1. There's rook f8, there's knight f6. But if he plays check first and then rook f8, then there's no knight f6. So that's interesting. And there's queen g6. And there's rook f1 check there. And go for queen d3, I think. Got rook off. Bishop's a bit blunted. Can I get the queens off? Get my king to hold up this pawn. I've got b3 there, if needed. Knight's holding c3. Oh, b4. I should stop b4, hold on. I should stop king f5, since I can't. e6. So if king f5, there's e7. What's happened to my sound? My sound's gone. I don't know where the heck my sound's gone. Oh well. I wonder if the sound will come back. I need to restart. a bit disturbing to lose the sound. What the heck's happened to the sound? Oh man. Okay. I'm playing without sound here, guys. Okay, I don't know what happened. How can I fix it? It's not coming back, is it? Okay, that's great. Playback devices. Oh, it's gone. Okay, sorry, I'm playing about peace sound at the moment. Oh, at least you can still hear my commentary. Alright, so we're playing without the peace sound. Sorry about this. I don't know if this is okay, or do you want me to try and restart ICC? I think I've is it okay without the peace sound? Sorry about this. I could try restarting ICC after this. Is it my malware bytes? It's killing something. They did a new version, and I thought it was going to be dodgy. Any new version means I've been suffering in some weird technical way. Happened with another bit of software recently. I don't know if it's just muted my sounds. My malware bytes, great. But anyway, so what's happening here? I've got this F file. Maybe I can put some more pressure on the F file. That's one nice property of the King's Gambit thing. Can I treble on this F file? That sounds pretty useful to know when opponents move. I might try and restart after this ACC program. Okay, so what's going on? Rook F2, Rook A-F1. Actually, I've got another idea. Volume mixer. No, that program's not even there. The ICC program's not even there. Alright, so probably I'll restart the ICC program. After. So D3 is collapsing. It's good that D2 is held by the rook and bishop. Otherwise that would be almost like winning a piece. No, but D2 is held at the moment. So my immediate thought is to okay, I can unpin. D2's being held by the rook. I'm wondering knight F3 to H4 to F5. That would give knight takes G7. In the meantime, there's knight C4 though. What about B3? That unfortunately weakens C3. Maybe that's not the biggest deal here. I can play rook F3, rook G3. Or even if okay. No. Got to be careful here. Got to be careful. What about bishop A2 instead? Oh, there's a trebling possible with rook D6. In fact, where is that knight going? In fact, there's knight C4 and rook D1. That's funny. Okay, not too many move choices, I gotta say. Because rook D1 there was knight C4, all of a sudden I'm feeling a lot of pressure. That's a terrible thing to have to do, but I don't know what else. Yeah, I've been structurally compromised here. Queen b6. Don't like this particularly, but hang on. Is it all bad if I got a6? Maybe a4 in the circumstances if he took. A4. What about queen b7? I'm not sure about this at all now. Yeah. Yeah. Nope. Stuck. This looks awkward, this position. I think maybe keep the queens on. Maybe queen g3. Maybe just keep the queens on for a moment. Except losing some pawns, but rook f6 is a threat now. Potentially, if I wasn't losing the bishop. Maybe king h2. Would threaten under some circumstance. Rook f6. Actually, I want e5 anyway here. So, okay, let's imagine queen d6 or queen e7. I'll play king h2 anyway. And can't exploit his extra pawn immediately. And there's bishop a2 anyway. It sort of pins that to f7. At least that bishop's not entirely terrible. Rook f5 might be handy for pressure on e5. Oh, there's knight e4 happening. I'll go back to queen e3 then. Hold e4. How is this queen b6 looking now? Still not very useful. What about rook f5? No. I still want to keep the queens on. Yes. It's grovelly. Oh, okay. Okay. E5 is threatened for rook f7. Maybe over here. Bishop f3 for e5 for bishop d5 then. I didn't really want to allow him knight d5. This is again keeping some tension in the position, trying to keep the bishop on. I think bishop f3, e5, then bishop d5, focal point f7. No, he's not allowing that. Can I stop knight e5 for a moment? I don't want a massive blockade there on e5. Oh, this is happening. This blockade is happening. Oh, that's a shame. Oh, crikey. There's my rook traps as well. This is going well. About sound as well. What happened to have no sound as well? It's kind of non-reassuring not to have sound. Anyway, he's in time pressure. That might count for something. You never know. Oh, I shouldn't have dropped that pawn. So I've got to hold this miserable rook and pawn ending without sound. Is that the way it is? That's the way it is. That's life. Well, I'm going to offer a draw. I don't know if he's going to accept it, because I don't like playing without sound. I'm going to try and restart the ICC program. Oh, I heard something there. Please tell me the sound's back. Well, and no, it's not. What have I done? What have I done? Try that again. Sorry, one moment. I'm just going to troubleshoot sound problems. Oh, it's the XSplit renderer. How annoying is this? Okay, I'm sorry about this. I can't seem to get back the sound from restarting ACC. Might have to carry on just without sound for this session. It's really unfortunate. This hasn't really happened that much before, as far as I can remember. Let me re-render the screen, the board. This might not be something I can sort out now. Slightly unfortunate or what? Oh boy. Hi, is audio? Can you still hear my voice? I don't know if is the stream still functioning? Something happened during one of the games. I don't know exactly what. I'll accept this challenge. Maybe it's an XSplit thing. Okay. Okay, we've got this tango here. Alright, I have to play inside. I don't know what's happened. I don't know, apart from restarting the computer, but that would I could, yeah, it'll take quite a few minutes. I don't really want to restart the computer. So it's unfortunate, but this hasn't happened before. Alright, so okay. A tango. Sometimes I'm good on the dark squares here. This looks like a position I could be quite good on the dark squares. Should we just carry on like this? I'm not sure what I can do actually, unless you've got any suggestions though. So I'm presenting this option, but I don't know what to do. If it basically about the piece sounds at the moment. Okay, so if he takes, I'm slightly weak in that F4 square. Let's see if I can get an H file, or the F4 square, or both. That'll be interesting to get both. Right, so knight f4 and queen h4. Alright, I'll get my piece back, actually, and maybe queen h4. So if king f1, I think I've got knight f4, sealing off the exit. Alright, now here. Oh, maybe he's... unfortunately, maybe he's escaping. But bishop g2 might be a good target for queen h2 and bishop h3. Maybe. At least to get rid of that light square bishop. Okay. Have I let him off the hook? It's possible. I might have let him off the hook here. So I probably haven't got too much going. I think I might have, there was some inaccuracy crept in there. Yeah. Yep. Alright, let's keep the queens on, a bit of tension in the game position. Okay. Let's see. F6, king f7. Maybe this H file. I'll try and use this H file. So, it's not, it's sort of positional now. So rook h2, rook h8. Just try and get control of the H file. Then work it from there. Maybe there's queen g4 to f3. Is there anything going on here? If I get queen f3, I wonder. Queen f3, does that do anything? I'm going to parry this knight for a moment. Yes, he's disconnected my rooks. What about g5 though? Isn't g5 handy? Okay. What am I going to do with this knight? If it goes over, it hasn't got that many prospects. Right. Can I do this? Some pressure on d1 potentially. Not entirely handy here just yet. Right, a5, that knight. Knight c6, queen f3. No, not queen f3. That's not what I meant. Okay, queen h3. Queen g2. There would be queen g3. There's a pin here now. Potentially. I got rid of this knight just to simplify. Have I got any pressure here to speak of? Or is it stable? Is it just too stable? Looks as though it could be too stable. What about queen f3? Get the queens off. I wonder. Okay, was that a slip? Take on B2 as rook H. What about actually just contesting this against rook H1? Or not worrying about that? That's interesting, just to take here for rook G2 then, surely. Where's the mating there? Not really a mating there. This is C7, this could be a problem, these checks. Maybe a king can go over here. Oh, I think he's resigned. Okay. Thanks for the game, moving Dutchman. Okay, Grand Pats of 5. This is always a tough opponent. I'll try Kara Khan. I'll take her. So knight d6. I'm too worried about knight d6. I'll block in my own bishop. Right, knight d7. I wonder, can I actually use this diagonal? So b6 and bishop a6. Is that, I don't know if that's doing anything or not. I think white's better. Can preserve this. Stop use of g5 for a moment with the queen. And hit f7 if he wanted with knight g5. Can I play this? Protects f7. Oh, he's got bishop c6. I don't think it's mate though. Maybe I can play queen takes c6 on bishop takes. Knight 7 king g8. It's a little bit dangerous, I gotta say. What about putting this bishop back on b7 here, just to protect c6? I'll protect c6 for a moment. Then maybe knight g6. Well, there's h5. Is that doing anything if I play knight g6? It's a bit of a tricky position. If I protect this, that gives me the possibility of c5. Yeah. Oh. Okay, that's getting pretty dangerous. That looks pretty lethal, actually. I don't know if I'm surviving this, particularly. Hold on. No. You can just take and then make it on h7. I think I'm virtually. It looks as though I'm virtually forced to. Oh, hang on. Knight g6. Bishop check. So I'm getting mated there, surely. Well, the king can come over here. Maybe knight g6 is plausible, although it's crazy looking. It might be plausible. I'll give it a shot, because I think other things just basically fundamentally lose. Right, it's going to be winning the queen if I did this. Doesn't look very healthy, this position. Does not look healthy. On the brink of getting mated or losing my queen. On the bishop f4, I'm taking her and hitting the queen. I wonder if bishop g5, king g7 doesn't look healthy. I just wonder if there's a theoretical offence. Say king g7, is there a theoretical defence? Check and then knight f6 after. If I took... taking on f6 maybe, if queen h7. Well, the good news is I haven't been mated. I thought I'd get mated there. The bad news is still in a bad spot here. He's still in attacking mode. Bishop c8 at least means I can do this. Okay, I can stop rook h6 for a moment. Can I blockade here with knight h6 just to stop this h6? Alright. Maybe queen d6, bishop d7. Alright, this is phase 2 of the attack. Is there DC? Oh, there's DC. Maybe there's E4 there. Queen C6. And bishop E6. Stop bishop C4. I want to play bishop E6. Oh, there's rook D6. Oh, that's a pain. I'll stop queen F6. Is there knight G4 to E5? I'd lose E4. That might be worth doing anyway. If I lose E4, well, there might, I don't know, might be rook H5. Rook H5 might give me bishop D5, winning the queen tactically. Bishop D5 pinning the queen. Rook D5, queen E4 check. Bishop D5. Bishop D5 round here, queen E4. But rook H1, if takes rook queen E4, rook H1. If queen D5, rook D5, I win a rook. Rook and pawn ending, clock advantage. And go around to C1 to stop this pawn. But rook D5, queen E4 check, interruption tactic, is lethal. I don't know how to survive that. It's crazy. Yeah. That's strange how I survived that. I'm thinking like Petrosian now. Petrosian was deaf. I was actually thinking Petrosian, you know, he's deaf. He's playing this match against someone and he can't hear all the noise outside, so he's really focused on the chess. I'm thinking I'm deaf to any sounds. I'll try and get an advantage from that. Look more carefully at the game position. Just listen carefully to the game position. What resources are in the game position? Forget everything outside. Petrosian with his hearing aid. Okay. I think that's one of my more resourceful defences on these sessions. Okay, so 3 minute or 5 minute on the auto parrying. Let's go maybe 3 minutes. There was a bit of a counter attack there. Oh my word, Anat. So Anat GM on the 3 minute. Okay. Castle Queenside. Yeah. Yeah, it weakens my dart squares immediately. Pain. Of course. Very aggressive play. This doesn't look good. I think Queen F6 is nearly winning. C3 does B4. It's hopeless. Got rook e8 for rook e2. Oh, it's f3. Hold on, f3. On rook e8, f3. Take how? Hasn't undermined my b4 square just yet. Oh. Oh, I'm just a rook down. Just a rook down. Doesn't work. Whoops, that was horrible opening. I couldn't recover from that opening. That was just horrible opening. Yeah, don't want to have a position like that. Very easy for him to play that with bishop a3 and weakening my dart squares. Very, very well played. Nom de Gure. So this knight c6 French with a quick f6, trying to get this f file. Okay, this looks pretty standard stuff at the moment that I've played sort of before. Aha. It's a nice blockade piece on d5, at least. Will he fix my pawns? Don't know about knight g5 allowing that. He's not wanting to fix my pawns, is he? Ah, okay. Okay. Aha. Again, I'm with damaged pawns. The way this is happening. Nevertheless, I suppose he's taking on e6. I don't know, bishop d5 or bishop d7. I don't like this weak pawn on d6 particularly. I've got nothing to show for that. It's the worst structure. Okay, d5 though. Can I get at least some piece activity? Alright, it's not the end of the world, surely. Oh, bishop c2. Why do I want to go on the line square? Keep on a dart square here, away from the bishop. Okay, maybe I don't want to go into a pin. Particularly, what about knight d6 to e4? Okay, let's not lose that in a hurry. He's got a nice grip on the position, unfortunately. Can I loosen the grip on the position? Maybe double rooks and then g5. Knight d7 is not doing anything at the moment. g5 is not doing anything. He's got a very nice grip on the position, unfortunately. See what happens. Knight c5 does seem very token, as in pointless. Is that the knight e4? He's just going to win a pawn by force. He just takes and takes. So I wonder, he's got an entry point here on e7. It's pretty unpleasant. Get ready for knight e4 like this. Okay. I don't want to get back row mated. Rook d7 checkmate. What about d4 here? Maybe for d3. Does he blockade? Just blockades. King g8 and there's bishop c4. Bishop b5 around here. Let's see, does he do bishop c4? Maybe there's bishop d5. With the idea of rook d5, rook b5. Right, so bishop d5. Alright. I really want my king to be active, so I'll let him take this pawn. I want my king up here. He's not letting my king be active in a hurry. Here? Can I bribe this pawn? You want to take this pawn? No? No. No, he doesn't. It's a very controlled game by him, very controlled. Very controlled. Right into the ending. This is going to be tricky with 7 seconds though. That's the only thing about this. Get a draw. Maybe even take for a win on time here, naughty. Alright, Racelin, 5 minute. Okay, knight g3, h4, h5. Alright, so this is a standard Caro-Kann. So king b1, c4, bishop c3, that sort of plan. Mind you, his castle kingside, quite often black castle's queenside. Can I get an attack going with g4? Attackment, a road to his king with g4. He might take it for f2, no, he might not. Right, something like rook g1, g5 then. g5 looks dangerous. Let's say my my son lost my co-producer here. You can see my audio, it's okay, my piece sound. Okay, so g5 anyway coming up. Let's reload this page. What's happening with this page over here? Okay. H6. Is that any good? Is he really blocking up all my files? I guess he is. H6, G6. Well, let's see. Stuff is opening up here. Well, I can take on G5. There's knight e6 on knight g4. If takes, queen g6 is mating. Knight takes e6 looks damaging to black. So knight takes g4, knight takes e6. Or even here for queen g6, queen g7. It's nice to chip away at the defensive pawn chain sometimes, either tactically or with one's own pawns. So that defensive pawn chain there, that takes a chip out of it. Queen g6, or winning the exchange. Can I play for, I don't know, f4 now? Maybe even just f4 g5, just to hold the pawns. f4 g5. That knight's not looking too great on h7. If I get a g5 in here, then I can probably just try and get the centre file and use my exchange up. I don't need to go for his king. It's nice to have that knight just locked in there. Let's see, he's got some aggressive intent with a3 maybe to weaken my c3 square tactically. Oh, there's also knight e3. Oh, there's a pin at the moment. Knight e3, rook e1. I think I can pin that at the moment. Except knight b4 is threatening queen a2. I didn't notice until now. Oh, that's clever. My king can go to d2, I guess. It's not exactly what I had in mind for the position. Hang on. Let's not do a mini resign. I've talked about these mini resigns where you sign off on a terrible thing. There's actually the resource queen a3 here. I don't have to mini resign the a2 pawn. There's queen a3. Again, that c2 needs to be protected. Although he's got knight c2 there. If rook c2, no, there isn't queen f1 because knight f1. So I assume I can play this. Crikey, things are getting tactical here. He's trying to deflect my queen away from a2. This has got really out of control, I've got to say. Have I got knight h1? I don't know where else that knight goes. I don't know how things got out of control so much. This is the horrible thing about forcing moves. Lethal weapon of forcing moves. Rook b1. Right, I'm so much on the defensive. Rook b1 would afford me one day a queen move. I don't know if he's got rook d2, rook d1 coming in. Yeah. Have I got queen b4 for a3 at least? I wonder. For king a2 and then rook b1. Because if I did it with rook b1, he's got rook d2, b1, d2, d1 quite quick. Maybe I give up the knight because I can't see anything better to do than give up the knight. Alright, he's not gone for that knight just yet. Can I keep the knight on the board then? This isn't my dream position from earlier, I've got to say. There's knight f6 now with queen f8. Well, I thought there was before losing the knight to that tactic. That's just wonderful. I'm being completely positionally, tactically murdered, aren't I, all the time in this game? How's this ending? Can I actually get a winning ending? He doesn't want the queens off. That was a strange one. I didn't... if only I played A3 earlier, I would have stopped a lot of that stuff. Oh, crikey. Well, while we're waiting for challenges, I think that was totally winning for black. I mean, it looked totally winning. Let's have a look at this. That went crazy. I thought this was winning for me. This should have been winning for me. Okay, I was thinking, like, I didn't know this stuff is on the cards. This is clearly a nasty combination of A2 and E2 coming in here. Oh, there's D5. Is that a lot better than the game? I was thinking Queen A3. I don't know. There's D5 as well. What does this do anyway? Oh, it means I can go in for G7 quite quickly. And here is actually a double attack on B4 and G7. Crikey, winning a piece. So although I said no mini resigns, this is a kind of mini resign I did anyway. Even though I'm not losing A2, it's very, very awkward. Let's see. So he's now on F1 and C2. So that's okay apparently. And I played this. And although this is not working, it's getting nasty looking. I played that. That's a mate in 7 apparently. Okay, so B3, and if he takes, oh sorry, I'm attacking his queen. If you take here, then I guess I've got this A file. Hang on, I'll take here. So I've slipped up here with C3. This is actually a mate. Check. Check. Oh, I think it's this and this. I've just seen it. I've just seen what it's going on about. Bang. Bang. Back row mate. So I was let off there. Now he could just... Oh, Queen E4 apparently is better. I don't know why. Okay, oh then... Okay, yeah, there's all sorts of reasons why. Winning the knight with check or something. Yeah, he's winning the knight with check. That would explain it. And then this pawn is a knight up, and then that drops as well. And that's equal technically until here. Now even this apparently, again, this, I don't know why I keep missing this D5 resource at every opportunity. I miss D5. This is, I don't know why. I don't know why. It does protect the knight. Oh, if CD does knight F6, winning. That is winning because Queen F8. So D5 here is also elegantly saving things. We go back. I go back to being lost. Yes. Okay. Google Girl. Next. Okay. Google Girl. Yeah. Interesting. Oh, crikey. Benko Gambit. It's not apparently going to be a Benko Gambit. Right, so bishop g7 and hope for the best. The power of the double fianchetto. So d6, knight bd7, and I think I want to try and weaken the dark squares a bit with e5. If d5, then I get this c5 square, I think. So knight d7, e5, and if d5, that's c5 square, but there's also that like backward pawn there to potentially target on c4. Is this kind of fictional? It's kind of fictional because I'll never get to play e5 at this rate. That is a massive bind on the e5 pawn move. In which case, what is the plan for black here? Maybe it's a bit of a waiting game for a moment. Pressure could be put on e7, so I guess I'll play rook e8. Actually, there's a nifty hypermodern style plan, rook c8, rook c7, queen a8. Might have to do that. It would at least threaten bishop f3, doubling the pawns. I've had that played against me recently. I was on the white side of a London system and my opponent played this maneuver. Okay, hypermodern style. It is putting pressure on e4 as well. What about e5 here? Is that possible? It seems I might be able to play that. Might is the operative word. Okay, can I get away with this? Or am I losing e5? Actually, if any knight e5, there's bishop g2, bishop takes g2. Well, it's intriguing if I can get away with this. There is that c5 square as mentioned earlier. In any case, okay, so aha. What about trying to get a knight into f4 here? Because sometimes f4 and d4 are key squares with black to try and do something with. It's all a lot about timing as well. And again, recently I could have sacrificed the pawn and got quicker onto f4 with some regret after. Quick knight to f4 here would open up this bishop and potentially give me the e5 square, as long as tactically I'm not running into something horrible. I think there's always knight f6 to protect the rook on e8. So knight f6, knight takes, holds the rook with queen and knight. f5 or h, maybe h6 for a moment, just to stop knight g5. Oh, there's knight e5 as well. It doesn't matter about b6, I'm on d3 there. So let's imagine knight e5 and double. And it's fascinating. Possibilities I think are emerging. If I take the knight e5 just to get a tempo, block that e file for a moment. If queen d4, there's knight takes f3 check, winning the queen. Not that queen d4 is a fantastic proposition. The bishop could drop back here. What about rook d7? On knight takes b7, queen takes. Okay, let's imagine rook d7 here. Okay, I don't think that's too bad. White's got control of that e4 square. I think there's knight d3, and if bishop takes, there's bishop d4 here. Tactically trying to win the queen. There's no rook e3, there's bishop e3. I think knight d3 is a menacing move to face, I suspect. There is knight f6 check. Let's imagine king g7. Knight takes. I think I'll go for this. I think think King G7. So knight D7, I'll take and then take on D7. Bishop E4, I think I've got the check, and then maybe F5. That bishop's stable there. Maybe B5. The bishop's going to be quite stable. Trying to undermine this pawn chain immediately. Right. Yeah. Okay. Maybe Queen A1 takes and the king can come up to E5. Actually, I can take some material with check. In any case, I don't know if A4 is worth it or just King F6, Rook F7, King E5. The king getting into the position seems aggressive to play for. There's always A4 here. Or not. No, there isn't. Is that asking for trouble? I wonder if I can get in A4 at the right time. Oh, it's King D2 here. King D2. Yeah. Okay, thanks for the game, Google Girl. Roland. I remember I annotated the Fischer game where he played against the London system and tried. He got white to weaken F4 and then used F4 expertly. That might be one of the Achilles heels potentially you can look forward to with black against the London system. The dark square play. Okay, so let's see. This is like Philidor defense. I wonder if I can just play super aggressive with knight F5 plan or G5 knight F5. Okay, yeah, that's energetic. Energetic response to my play. So I could be falling apart pretty soon, or I might have some sort of attacking prospect. At the moment, I thought I was threatening Queen D5. Why can't I play Queen D5? In fact, I've got a choice of pieces. I think taking here is better because I'm on the rook. If he takes with the bishop though, and then I'll take here, that gives me bishop A3 in any case, which might be tasty. Rook E8, F4, any F6 there's bishop C4 check. So I think that's pleasant. If he wants to take here, then there's that G file. I don't know, the check here for G5 looks interesting. That locks down the F pawn. Maybe bishop B2, castle queenside, C4, E6, check. So bishop B2, castle queenside, and then look forward to C4 and E6, check. I don't want to have that blockade square used. Be ready to double black's pawns. Can I still go for this plan, or is it pointless now? I don't know if it's totally pointless. Castle queenside. Well, there's another plan here of rook d7, just to quickly use this d file. Okay, I'll keep the bishop alive. Okay, I'll use the d file. Yeah. Oh, e6, e7. I've just missed e6, e7 there, just winning, I think. Oh. Oh well. That was a tactical shot missed. Oh well. Naughty, naughty. Okay. This looks nice anyway. These pawns look pretty nifty. Do I need that square for my king? And it's got bishop d2 on this one. Okay. If my king goes over there, there's always bishop d2 on this one. What about just getting this pawn here just in case for g6? Whilst my king's on protecting d2, I've got a pass pawn here. I can try and create another pass pawn over here. Or maybe just g6. There's two connected pass pawns in the centre with g6. No particular entry point for my king at the moment. I'll just keep this active on a7 anyway. The check. Yeah, this promise of the two connected pass pawns in the centre. Probably I could do with my king. Let's have a look at this g6 again. e6, d6. Can't see it immediately. It's a non-committal move for a moment. But king d4 is committal for bishop d2. There's king and pawn ending. He wouldn't go into that, would he? Okay. I might have to. I'm going to test this to these pawns. I hope they can do the business. d6, bishop f6, d7, for example. Maybe bishop f6 first. Maybe they can't do the business. Is he blockading? Well, there's going to be d6 now. The way he's played this, I can force through d6. Nope, I cannot. Can my king go to g5? g5? King h4, bishop f2, king g5. Yeah, why win with e7 forking rooks earlier when I can try and for 120 move pawn and bishop ending instead? if I took king d5, king f6, I suspect I'll fluff this. The eerie silence adds to the drama. Okay, f5, and then what? King g6, f6. I can never play e7 because he takes, then takes, draw. The only way is f5 maybe, and then king somewhere, protecting f5. Okay. This is a different kettle of fish. I suspect this is a draw, but let's just check for a moment. It's clearly a draw, I think. It's clearly, I think it's clearly a draw. Let's have a quick analysis before that last move. This is not, the evaluation here is not going to change because it's a draw. Basically, it's not changing. I think the last move might have been a mistake. This might be okay now for white to win. Yeah, that's probably a win on the board. Okay, but yeah. Okay, yeah, sorry about the sound. Let's play a 1 minute game just to fill the last few minutes on the auto pairing. I don't know what on earth has happened to the sound this week. It's not happened in previous sessions. Oh, that's pending. Sorry, 1 minute auto pairing. I think I missed the tactical shot. Just to go back here, I'm pretty sure I missed the tactical shot. Oh, it's too late. Right, let's have a 1 minute. Someone from Cyprus. My parents are both from Cyprus. Cyprus flag there. I've just blundered the bishop already. Oh, that was clever. Oh, crikey. How can I go and blunder the bishop? Oh, no. Just blunder the queen, even worse. Oh, time to stop the session, I think. Oh! This is not my greatest bullet game ever, I gotta say. Yeah. What on earth? Okay, just one more. Oh, I hate bullet chess. Oh, I think I've got to stop playing bullet chess. Oh. Just one more bullet game and I'm signing off after that. Okay. I can play better, I think, sometimes on bullet chess. Let's go King's Gambit. Okay, at least I haven't lost major material yet. Famous last words. Okay, my opponent's doing me from the previous game. Doing an impression of me from the previous game, it seems. Okay, just one more on yours. This high quality bullet chest here. These are really high quality. just one last one. Just one last one. Okay, no, actually, it's a good time to stop. Oh, hang on. Annoying French defence, I gotta say. Really annoying opening to face in Blitz chess. It's French defence stuff. Exchange French. Try and weaken these light squares. Oh, he did have, if he wanted the queen, but it's for 2 rooks. Can I get this e4 square if I get b4, knight e4? Maybe I can get the e4 square and win the rook. Yeah, on e6. Okay, this f4 looks good. That's winning a piece here. Okay. Yes, I don't want to give a bad impression about my bullet chess in a hurry. Just one more. I'm just a bit annoyed about. I don't want to give any bad impression about my bullet chess. I can win bullet tournaments on other sites quite often. I just want to make amends for that. I just want to crush this GM. Just to make amends. That game was so bad, losing the queen. This is a very slow GM. Surely I'm going to win on time here. Or not. Am I going to fatally weaken this diagonal? He hasn't got as fast broadband as me. I think that's going to be in my favour, I hope. Anyway. Why do I keep allowing this invitation for knight d6? That's interesting. Can I go for cheapos on the G file? Apparently not. This is not very pleasant, is it? Oh, am I getting squished? I'm getting squished. Ah! No! Oh no! I cannot beat him. He's so slow. He was so slow. What happened? He was so slow. Unbelievable. Nope, I can't. Okay, well played. It's not all about speed, it's about skill. That's what that shows. Yeah. Okay. I think alright, hopefully sound issues are going to be resolved. So I'm going to try and work out what on earth happened to the sound. Alright, this week that was my main issue with this week. Sound. Okay, thanks. I think we end here. I think. Who's Vespasian anyway? Who's this guy? Actually, I'm not sure who he is. Okay, I think we're going to end here. I hope you've enjoyed the session. Alright, so thanks for coming. Have a nice weekend. Okay, yeah. Thanks for coming. Have a nice weekend. I'll try and diagnose the sounds after this. Okay, we're going to end here. Okay, thanks very much. Comments, questions, likes, appreciate it. Thanks so much.